What better time to start our October Halloween video series? It'll be a trilogy, as all good Halloween movies are, than August, in the middle of a beautiful field that is pretty much ready to be harvested. But I'm here in a small village, or just outside a small village in Buckinghamshire, called Wingrave. And I'm here because just up the way, apparently, is there an old lady called Susannah Hannokes, I think her name was, or Hannokes. I'll put it on the screen. And she was accused of being a witch. And we're going off to Wingrave to learn a little bit more about her story. Now, I think our footpath is over to the left. There's a little, there's a little bridge ahead. Let's take the little bridge and we'll continue our story. Probably footpath left, but I want to go over the bridge. I know I want to go over the bridge. Wingrave is over the bridge. Let's get through, see if there's another sign. They've fallen down. Right, so let's get the old phone out. We want to be heading that direction. There you go, look at that. There's a deer just to the left. I don't know if you can see her. She can definitely see me. It's a bit like a kangaroo. Straight up the tram lines. Okay, let's continue our story as the wind gives me the biggest bouffon in the history of man. So Susannah Hannokes, or Hannokes, was born about 300 years ago in the early 1700s. The only history we can find about her is that she was an old woman. She seemingly lived on her own and was fairly quiet as well, so we can assume she was a widower. But she lived in the village of Wingrave, which is about another 2 kilometres in front of us. Now, I think this is the path. I think there is a path. I'm not sure on either of those accounts. There are hoof prints on the floor, which suggests that it's also a bridle way, or bridle path. So I probably am going the right way. I'm gonna have to find a different route back. Otherwise my dog will kill me. In 1753, either William or Richard Wooley, depending on which records you believe. I tend to believe Richard, I think, because that's the one that's on the parish register. But Richard or William Wooley became the vicar of the church just up the road here in Wingrave. And he was a bit of an eccentric man by all accounts. Not Rothschild's eccentric, but he had very strong beliefs outside of religion. And one of those will come back and haunt Susannah in a little bit. Starting to see some civilization. I have to check the map again, but I think I just follow this route round to the left. Now, another resident of the village, who, as far as I can tell, is completely unnamed, was having trouble with her spinning wheel at the same time. It had slowly been getting to the point where it was seizing and failing to rotate. And rather than just perform any kind of maintenance on it, she decided that Susannah was a witch and had put a curse on her spinning wheel and was preventing it from spinning. And she went to the new vicar and told him this story. Now, one of Richard's weirdnesses or hobbies outside of religion was that he fancied himself a bit of a witch finder, a witch hunter. And he took this story about Susannah and the fact that she was quiet, kept to herself, and old, and decided that the story was probably true. We have certainly found civilization now, and we are a lot happier walking on the pavements than we were through the fields. Now, Susannah was brought here to the church by the vicar at the time, and she was stripped near enough naked all the way to her shift, where she was then weighed against a Bible. And it is said by witch hunters that if the Bible weighs more than the witch, then she is a witch. And if a witch weighs more than the Bible, then she is not. And luckily for Susannah, she was found to not be a witch because she weighed more than the Bible. I'm not sure if it was actually this church or if it's been rebuilt, because it looks quite modern, but we'll go with it being this church. So at least this time, the story ended well for the supposed witch, but I think next time we're going to head back to Tring, because that story is not quite such a pleasant ending for either witch or her husband. Definitely closed. As we head back down the public footpaths, different ones this time, hopefully a little bit more room for the dog and myself. But as we head back down the public footpaths back to where we started, I'd just like to thank you for watching. If you'd like to leave a like and subscribe, that would be super. Luckily, in this story, Susannah was determined not to be a witch. I don't know how many people would have been lighter than a Bible, but in this case, Susannah wasn't. The crazy vicar didn't manage to hunt his witch down this time. But next time, we're heading back to Tring. And the witch isn't quite so lucky, that one. Do subscribe and try to catch that one when it lands as we continue our Halloween trilogy starting in the middle of summer.